Udmærket. Så blev klokken 13. God eftermiddag og rigtig hjertelig velkommen. Vi starter nu dagens webinar, som i dag omhandler om Cloud Protection for Salesforce og lidt omkring, hvordan vi i F-Secure tænker avanceret beskyttelse ind i det produkt, som vi har udviklet sammen med Salesforce. Vi er lidt mennesker i det her webinar, og jeg vil bare opfordre til, at de spørgsmål, der måtte komme, hvis der er nogen, dem er man velkommen til at skrive ind i vores chat. Dagens taler engelsk, så det vil være at foretrække, hvis man kan stille spørgsmålene på engelsk, ellers skal jeg nok oversætte dem. Og jeg håber, at vi får tid hen mod slutningen på at tage de spørgsmål, der måtte komme. Det kan også godt være, at vi åbner op, hvis man har lyst til at stille spørgsmålet og italesætte det, i stedet for at skrive det. Det finder vi ud af. Hvad har jeg mere lige behov for at sige? Jo, webinaret bliver optaget, så hvis man har kollegaer, der ikke kan deltage, eller man har behov for at genbesøge det her webinar på et senere tidspunkt, så sørger vi for at sende linket ud, så det skal ikke være nervøs omkring. Og i dag har vi inviteret Dimitri Viktorov, som er, hvad kan man sige, en af hjernerne bag det her produkt, har været med fra en spæde start til at forme og konceptuere det her Cloud Protection for Salesforce fra et F-Secure perspektiv og naturligvis sammen med Salesforce. Og sådan helt naturligt derfor slår jeg over i engelsk om 2 sekunder og byder hjertelig velkommen til Dimitri. So Dimitri, can you even hear me?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic. Okay. I mean, in a second, the word is yours. I just want to say pleasure to have you as the speaker of today. I hope the presentation will go smooth. And on top of that, also, I hope that all you attendees will get something out of today's session. So basically, the word is yours, Dimitri. Take it away.
All right, thank you, Morten, and greetings on my behalf, and thank you for joining this webinar. I'm Dmitry Viktorov. I'm the principal architect in Business Security Business Unit, and I'm also the product owner of F-Secure Cloud Protection for Salesforce, which I'm going to talk about today. I hope that you will at least learn something new about the solution, and I also plan to give you a demo of the product somewhere in between of my presentation. But I would start my presentation with a brief introduction of the problem, and the problem is, of course, pretty new. It starts from the fact that many organizations, including yours, are moving towards the cloud. There is this even modern term called cloudification or cloudization. So it means that many old systems customers are moving away to the cloud, or they switch from the on-prem or traditional systems like it used to be CRM, and moving to the cloud-based or SaaS-based solutions like Salesforce. The thing is that when you go to the cloud, you need to understand that this is completely new problem or new security landscape, because quite often organizations tend to trust the security of cloud vendors or cloud solutions because they believe that by definition the cloud systems are all secure. But this is not true, because if you haven't heard about the security responsibility model, especially what applies to the cloud, it definitely puts some responsibility on you as a customer. So as it's illustrated on the slides, so what the cloud provider like Salesforce or any other SaaS solutions, they are responsible for providing security for so-called infrastructure, which includes, of course, like physical security, host infrastructure, network storages, even the application level. But then you as a customer, you still need to understand that the content security or identity, it's something that you need to protect, or you need to manage it somehow. Because security cloud providers, they unfortunately can't implement the old security controls just due to the fact that the content is quite often encrypted, or identity management is out of the control by the cloud provider. So we've been actually looking into this for a while, and me as a cloud architect, we understood this problem quite a long time ago, and we started building these solutions. And we were happy also to establish the good partnership with Salesforce. So we built a solution which actually helps the customers to implement the shared responsibility in the cloud, especially when it comes to Salesforce. Salesforce, of course, as we know, it's very good platform in terms of the security. Salesforce does everything possible, and I would definitely give them a huge credit for what they built in the platform. So they have multiple layers to protect the infrastructure, protect your data. They even provide the premium services related to the security, like encryption, event monitoring, and audit trail. But what we did with Salesforce, we understood that we could help Salesforce and also Salesforce customers and partners to close this gap what comes to the data security, content security. And hence, we implemented the complement solution, which we call F-Secure Cloud Protection, which customers or partner can offer and then make sure that they protect the files or URLs storing or coming through the Salesforce platform. So, of course, I will elaborate on more specifics about solution, but just to highlight that we definitely complement. We do not compete with the built-in security controls in the Salesforce platform, and we definitely kind of synergy and fully compatible with the premium services like Shield. So what we bring with our solution, it's of course traditional kind of antivirus, but on top of that, we also provide additional threat analysis services which make our solution more than just antivirus for Salesforce. I would also like to spend a few minutes explaining what are the threats with the Salesforce Cloud or any cloud-based applications nowadays. So as I said, the world has changed and many things are now moving to the cloud. And that actually brings this dilemma that traditionally IT or security folks, they actually try to build the layer security around their network, endpoint services and whatnot. But with the cloud applications, you actually remove the perimeter completely. And by that, I mean that your employees or partners even, they actually become mobile. They are roaming. They might access certain cloud applications from outside of your network. They can actually use their own devices, which are not necessarily protected by endpoint solutions. This also creates a problem that if you interact with partners or your customers through Salesforce Cloud, it also poses a risk that even though your internal infrastructure, your internal devices are well protected, it doesn't actually guarantee that your partners or your end customers will be protected. So you see that the cloud applications, so cloud services, they create a so-called like a possibility for stepping stone attacks when the bad guys can actually put some bad or malicious payload through the cloud, and then either your internal users, your internal employees will actually be in contact with that malicious stuff, or maybe your partners or your customers will accidentally also open the malicious document or malicious URL. So this picture would also illustrate the normal or basic interaction between you, your partners, or maybe end customers. Of course, I don't know like how exactly you are using Salesforce Cloud, but I would basically depict this kind of through the illustration of using Salesforce maybe as a service cloud or maybe as a community cloud, when you definitely interact with external users, or when there is a risk that even like your internal employees will use their own devices, maybe from home or maybe from cafeteria or whatever. So the risk typically comes from the fact that well, the malicious content can be uploaded to Salesforce Cloud, either by the partner or by the end customer. And don't think that this would be malicious intention from the partner or the end customer. It might be that the attacker can actually compromise the account of your partner or the end user, and then through that compromised account, they will actually access your Salesforce Cloud or maybe your community portal, and then they will try to upload the malicious content. This, of course, creates the risk that then your internal employees, they will be able at least to download this malicious content inside, and this puts, of course, a high risk for your internal kind of data and also internal operations. But this is also about the credibility or your kind of value that you provide. So it's also important to understand that even though you protect or do everything possible to protect your data and protect your employees, still there is a risk that if one compromised account of the partners will actually start putting the malicious content to the Salesforce Cloud, then the other partners or maybe the end customers, they might get infected. So you still need to understand that it's not about protecting your internal infrastructure. Quite often, you also need to take care of the data you share with your partners or the customers. And of course, nobody can guarantee the safety of the internal content. So we know at least some security vendors are talking about zero trust nowadays concept. So you should not trust anything coming from outside. And I basically agree with this concept. But on the other hand, even with this paranoid kind of concept, you should understand that normally kind of the content you share through the Salesforce cloud, it doesn't necessarily to be fully kind of secure or safe. So these are just illustrations what might happen or what are the risks by using different Salesforce offerings. Like with the community cloud, this is probably now opinion the most kind of obvious threat landscape or the vector for the attacks. When you let external users communicate through the community cloud, they might upload the malicious content. They can put actual links to the ransomware, or the phishing attacks might actually happen. So this is a high risk because people typically expect that the provider, in this case, I mean, either the Salesforce or your company hosting the community portal. So the external users might actually blindly trust that. But on the other hand, you should not trust the content coming through the Salesforce cloud. Hence, there should be some security layer in place which will verify the content coming in. But on the other hand, since you are sharing content also through the community cloud, then you also need to verify the content which is downloaded by external users. The other typical case we see with the service cloud, when you basically build a so-called custom support flow, and you interact with your partners or end customers by email or maybe also through the web-based portals. It's also there is a high risk that you might get the malicious content or you might be attacked through the malicious URLs. So hence again, you need to have a security layer which will validate files coming, let's say, from email to case or maybe uploaded through the web form. Same goes with the URLs, which is nowadays quite often used for the ransom-based attacks. With Sales Cloud, it's typically like protecting your internal employees, and especially in the cases when employees bring their own devices for work. So then you can't be sure that that own device actually is protected by endpoint security product or antivirus. So hence you also need to anticipate the risk that somebody from the home computer might upload the malicious file or might upload the malicious URL. With the application cloud, there is a risk specific to the third-party applications. When you are actually using App Cloud offering from Salesforce and you install the third-party application, you don't really know what that application will create in terms of the content or URLs. And then we, like I already mentioned, build this solution together with Salesforce. We call it F-Secure Cloud Protection for Salesforce. We also have F-Secure Cloud Protection for Office 365. But what we built for Salesforce, this is definitely kind of more than antivirus because we've been in the security field already for quite a while. I think it's more than 30 years. So we, of course, traditionally use the antivirus engines for scanning the content, but we basically build the more than antivirus, and we are using multiple security technologies to identify the threats. We also at least monitoring the security landscape, and we are getting different threat intelligence data to react to maybe like immediate outbreaks with the viruses or any ransomware attack. And like I already mentioned in the early slides, we added additional security to the Salesforce security platform. So extending the traditional shared responsibility towards the content security. Later you will see how easy to use our solution. And this is again thanks to the good collaboration we had with the Salesforce in the beginning. Salesforce greatly helped us to make really seamless integration, make it so that we do not impact the performance and user experience in the Salesforce cloud. Our application in AppExchange is actually named as native, and the reason is for that we definitely built it with the direct integration with the Salesforce cloud, and we also use cloud-to-cloud integration with F-Secure Security Cloud. This way, of course, we make it easy for customers to deploy it, and you don't need to deploy anything else. Like you don't need any middleware, you don't need any servers. Unlike CASP solutions, we do not require to change any network routing. We don't require any agents to be installed on the endpoint devices. And solution is installed just from the Salesforce AppExchange. The user experience probably similar to installing applications from mobile app stores like Apple Store or Google Play. Installation is done in like few minutes. Well, somebody put 3 minutes. Yes, it might be 3 minutes. Sometimes it's 5 minutes. But basically, again, You don't need spend too much time installing our application, and you can start, of course, checking the application in your sandbox or test organization and later deploy it in the production. I can also briefly explain you how the solution looks like on the architecture kind of perspective, because there are two pieces included in the solution. One, what we call the cloud protection application in the App Exchange. It's a native app, as I said, and you install it in your Salesforce org. But of course, the actual threat analysis is done outside of the Salesforce platform. This is just due to the kind of limitations of the platform, that you can't do like really native code, or you can't really run the antivirus engines there. So the application interacts with our own what we call F-Secure Security Cloud. And Security Cloud provides multiple security services. What is more important for cloud protection for Salesforce, that we rely on 3 pillars. It's a threat intelligence check, multi-engine antivirus, and then there is also one important piece which we call Smart Cloud Sandbox. But if we actually start looking at this diagram from the left-hand side, so the way it works, that whenever the content comes into the Salesforce platform, or whenever the user actually is trying to download the file or open a URL, we intercept that content through our native application. So then we start the threat analysis, and it involves multiple steps. So first thing we do inside of the inside of the Salesforce cloud, that we basically try to understand what's the reputation of the content coming in. We of course also use internal caching mechanisms just to make sure that we are not hitting performance, so we don't disturb the user experience. And then if we see that the reputation of the content is not properly known, then we actually send the content for a threat analysis to the security cloud, which then involves scanning the content with multiple engines. Also, if the content is found really suspicious, we might actually send the content for detonation. It's a term we call it because the technology trying to analyze the modern malware is definitely just a virtual machine, which is just a kind of sandbox, and then we run that malware, or we open the suspicious document inside of that sandbox. So we kind of detonate and see what might happen. This way, we also capable to detect the modern malware, even the malware which is not probably known in the field. And this way, we definitely go just above the normal antivirus. So maybe like as a funny story, quite often customers are asking us like how many times we update the antivirus. And seriously, antivirus engines is just a part of our technology stack. And as mentioned, we are using multiple antivirus engines. Even like traditional signature databases for antivirus engines, we update several times per day. But the threat intelligence database is updated 1 million times per hour. So you can understand like how many threat intelligence information we are receiving from different sources, including F-Secure products and including security vendors. So this way we can actually respond to the modern attacks really fast. And we also benefit from the fact that other F-Secure products also are using F-Secure Security Cloud. So if let's say one endpoint product will detect the malicious behavior with Office document, that information will immediately propagate it through the threat intelligence database, and it will be available for all our customers. But moving forward, when the threat analysis is complete, we can take the certain actions defined by the security administrator. So we can simply report the fact to the end user. We can show the blocking page as is illustrated on the slide. Then we can also send the notifications to the security personnel so that they could also take the actions. And everything we analyze in terms of the content passing through the security, through the Salesforce cloud, we actually create a lot of analytics data. So that data is available for security people. We store those data inside of the Salesforce organizations, but the data can be definitely exported or moved to the security management systems from the third-party vendors. As I said, the Secure Cloud Protection app is a native one. I will show you during the demo a bit of the UI. So we provide rich full analytics and monitoring. So some of the reports might also give you the insights what kind of content is shared through the Salesforce cloud. Based on the Salesforce reporting technology, we also provide like really granular reporting on different aspects. You can also customize those reports if needed. You can also like schedule them and receive reports by email. And the administration is super easy. We try to make the user experience as simple as possible, so that even like people without security expertise would be able to configure our application and manage it. Our application available in App Exchange, and I have to mention this is not reflected on the slides. It's available in Global App Exchange, and we also have the application available for our Japanese customers. So on this slide, there is a link to the offering. You don't need to remember the link. You can go to App Exchange, and then in the search box, just type Secure Cloud Protection, and then you will find us. So then you can install our application easily to your sandbox or by clicking Get It Now. And then, of course, if you need more information, you can contact us by the links or email addresses mentioned on that offering page. And then you can also find more technical documentation, including installation guide, testing guide, release notes. There is a link also to our community, and definitely you can reach out my colleagues in Denmark, who can also help you with additional kind of materials or answer any questions you have. So with that, I guess I can quickly show you the demo, and I will probably start showing you the actual problem, because sometimes customers don't believe that this problem might happen with Salesforce. So now I hope that you can see my web browser, and this is just a simple community portal that we created for the demo purposes. It's not actual banking system, but nevertheless, we try to implement some use cases. So I'm now, as a community user, reaching actually a community portal, and I'm trying to interact with the vendor. I'm just trying to figure out, okay, can I take the loan application? So I will probably post a question here, and the question would be just a loan application. And then I can probably attach the file here, or let me also demonstrate the attack with the URLs, because nowadays quite often ransomware actually gets into your network through the URL. So I'm actually posting here the URL, which is a standard testing URL from AMTCO organization. So you already see by the link that this is just a link to the phishing page. It's not real phishing page, but the security vendors should detect it as a phishing page. So now I'm actually posting these questions with the URL, maybe just adding some details here. Could you please check my application at here? And I can also probably attach the file here. So let me find the malicious file. I will, of course, use the example file here. It's not the real malicious file here. So I will attach here the loan application as a Word document. So now I will post the question here. And as you can see, I succeeded to put this application or question to the community portal. Now the link is here. So if I will try to open it, so let's see what will happen. So luckily I have the F-Secure endpoint product installed on my machine. So now, yes, F-Secure client security, I have it actually, F-Secure computer protection blocked that URL that I tried to access. But you can't be sure that these kind of capabilities might be on the end device that the user is using, or probably if the user is using a mobile device, which might actually restrict what you can provide in terms of the security. So then the user might open that link and then get malicious payload to that unprotected device. Same might happen with the file. So if I will try to download this file shortly, so now you see that I also got this pop-up from the computer protection on my endpoint. So that file has been detected as malicious. Probably at the end of the presentation, I will need to have a talk with our security people why I'm doing this on my machine. But luckily, this is just the eCar file I'm using for testing purposes. So you see that I managed to succeed by uploading the malicious content through the Salesforce cloud. In this particular case, I of course was using community cloud, but I could of course illustrate the same problem by using maybe service cloud, sending email to case. Or I could also demonstrate it by using Sales Cloud and then probably posting this URL or file through the chatter. So there are multiple ways for the attackers to put the malicious content through the Salesforce Cloud. But let me now show you how this problem would be solved if you would have cloud protection for Salesforce. Now I'm actually showing you a part of this application. So maybe at least for the demo purposes, I will quickly enable the protection, and I will show you how the things will go with the protection enabled. After that, I will spend some time explaining the parts of the application. So now I'm quickly enabling the protection for files and URLs, and let me try to do the same example here. So I will go and submit another question here from the online banking. One more application, and then I will probably use the same URL. Let me find it here. And now I will also try to attach the same file. Let me try to another one example, malicious file this time. So now I'm uploading this and trying to click ask. So first of all, you see that at least now I can't upload this malicious file because apparently something went behind the scenes, and definitely now F-Secure Cloud Protection app managed to analyze this file and it actually blocked it. So this way the user doesn't even have a chance to upload that file. But let me remove the file. I will probably proceed with the URL then. So let's see what will happen with the URL this time. So now it's already visible from the user experience that the original URL posted by the user, it was replaced by so-called redirect link. We by default, of course, let the original URL visible, but this URL, of course, is not clickable. So you see that we just mentioned that this is something that the user posted originally, but if the other user or the same user wants to open that link, it should happen by the redirect link. And if now I'm clicking that link, you will see that now the F-Secure Cloud Protection analyzed the reputation of that site, and now it actually says that this is harmful. So the difference between two examples, you see that the threat is already blocked now in the cloud, in the Salesforce cloud. So we prevent the user actually to access the malicious payload even before the security on the endpoint would detect it. And this way you can, of course, ensure that the malicious content will not be accessed by your external users like partners or customers. I can also now try to find that file that I uploaded early and try to download it back if it's still available. Maybe not. It should be probably in the resource center now. So you see that I managed to upload this example application. Let me try to download it now. So let's see what will happen. So now you see that there is quick scan of that file, and now again we see the block page because F-Secure Cloud Protection found this file as harmful. So with that, you see that at least we cover already one specific use case regarding the community cloud, and now I can also show you what I mentioned in the presentation, what is available for security personnel in terms of the analytics. So during the demo, I was uploading those files as a community user, and you see that when we detected this harmful content, we were reporting this through the alerts, and that information, like I mentioned, is also available for integration with the third-party security management systems, and you can also analyze it within the application installed in the Salesforce cloud. Along with the alerts, you can also see the file events. As I mentioned, we analyzing all files shared through the Salesforce cloud, so it's not only malicious files which are reported as a file events. You can also see at least somebody was there previously playing with this application. Even the clean files that we process, they are reported in the file events. Same goes with the URL events. Interesting fact that you can also see the history of the attacks or the threats. This is, by the way, excellent illustration what might happen with the advanced type of attacks. Because quite often, if the attacker actually specifically trying to get into your organization, they will really plan their attack or really well orchestrated. And quite often we see that the files or URLs the attackers are using, they might not actually see malicious in the first place. And especially with the URLs, the attackers might actually try to do it so that they try to hide the payload behind the legitimate domains. And then they let the links or files exist for some time. And then, of course, the security vendors will start at least treating those links or files as safe content. And then by the orchestration, the attackers might start putting the malicious payload behind the links or behind the files. And we are capable to scan this content on upload and download. And this way, we actually ensure that if we did not detect the file or harmful content in the first place, it will be rescanned later on. And as you can see in this file event history, some user uploaded this file maybe in August and then accessed it in September. But recently, at least when I downloaded it, was detected as blocked. Of course, this is just an example of targeted attack. We have a specific sample for that, which illustrates the point. But if the real attacker will plan the advanced attack against your organization, they will, of course, execute multiple ways to get through. And they might actually use not only Salesforce Cloud for that, they might go with other clouds. They might actually use the social engineering, send the phishing emails. With our solution, you basically get the holistic security, which actually protects your whole infrastructure, including cloud applications. And then, as I said, that we provide lots of useful reports. Of course, they are not visible immediately on the summary page, but if you go by the link, we provide you information about all content that we scan and protect. I will not probably spend too much time here. I encourage you to go and try out our application in your own environments and see what kind of content is passing through your organizations and how many URLs or maybe files uploaded in different locations like cases, chapter, and whatnot. We do, of course, provide the report specific for files and URLs. You can also get more statistics. What are the regular threats? How many files scanned per day? What are the like top 10 users attacked? And then, of course, you can see the different content types and different malicious files here. So that information is all available for customers, and also the benefits of our solution that all data actually remains in your Salesforce org. So we, of course, get the content for scanning to our security cloud, but we act as a data processor. So whatever files or URLs we receive, we immediately delete them after processing. And also a bit of technical details here that all content, all data that we receive, it's encrypted all the way. So it's encrypted in transit and it's encrypted also at the rest. And we are using unique time encryption keys for each and every submission. So it's not that we are encrypting, it's just using the same key. The keys are generated every time we get the sample or URL to the security cloud. So this is also typical questions from the customer. Okay, how you ensure that my data are actually protected at the secure cloud? So we definitely guarantee that your content, your data remains secure and encrypted all the way, and also all this analytics data, it's available for you. F-Secure doesn't get this analytics. We don't see in any email addresses, nothing about the users that might actually exist in your Salesforce organization. If we have time, of course, we'll probably go back to demo and show you maybe more specific features of our application. I will move forward with my slides. So we have at least very interesting cases and lots of customers, but today I just want to give you maybe a few references. Unfortunately, we can't share the information about all our customers because, you know, due to the nature of the security and also the customers' profiles, not many customers are willing to make a public reference or admit that they are using our solution to protect their Salesforce environments. But I have at least two cases to refer to. One is actually very important and interesting. This is not probably relevant for you, but you probably have heard about Yahoo. Yahoo, of course, is a big and well-known company in the US, but we have Yahoo Japan is one of our customers. And Yahoo Japan is, of course, even though they have more relevance with Yahoo in US, but Yahoo Japan is also very popular and well-known internet provider or internet-based service provider in Japan. And Yahoo actually selected our solution to protect their Salesforce environments for the service platform or for interaction with the customers through the service cloud. And you can actually read the reference from Mr. Atushi Tokoyama about like our solution and how it went. The other reference that I can share, it's also from one of our customers in US. They were actually one of our first customers who decided to protect their Salesforce environment. And they were also super happy with the quality of our solution and with the simplicity. And they also like our customer support services. But the more importantly, and I'm actually also personally proud of that the Salesforce itself give a reference to our solution on their Salesforce platform security FAQ. Believe it or not, but we did not pay anything for that. Seriously, we didn't even know about that. somebody from our existing customers let us know that our solutions is mentioned on the Salesforce-platform security. So Salesforce actually highlights the fact that since we are native application and really well integrated with the platform, we can be recommended at least what comes to the file protection and upload and download. And I also want to share you some statistics on numbers that we see from our side. We already at least protect around 800 Salesforce organizations, and this is statistics basically for last 6 months. We of course like getting happy customers every month, and in terms of the protected Salesforce org, it means that maybe a customer has a production org and maybe 1 or 2 sandbox orgs, so we count those as well. So for 6 months, we already scanned more than 14 million files from all those organizations. And we also check the reputation of files and URLs. You can also see the numbers on the slides. And interesting enough that for last 6 months, we detected more than 1,000 harmful files from all those protected organizations. And also what is alarming, at least for me as a security personnel, that there is a huge amount of harmful URLs that we detect. And this is, like I said, in my opinion, very important that nowadays modern attacks, they go through the URL. So URLs are used as a main vector to penetrate. So in terms of the URLs volume, we are not scanning that many, but you see that in this small volume, like 2.5 million, we detected 6,000 malicious URLs. So many customers of us, of course, they choose cloud protection for Salesforce mainly to scan files, but I'm happy to tell you that, for example, Yahoo Japan, they are using both file and URL protection. And we are also happy to help you to bring the content security into your Salesforce cloud. Maybe a few slides to share about information about pricing and licensing. So we are quite flexible in terms of the licensing, in pricing. We, of course, pretty much aligned with the Salesforce user-based pricing and licensing. We do provide some discounts. Licensing is based on the number of Salesforce standard and/or community users. So if you're buying a solution to protect internal and also community users, you might actually combine. We have different prices for standard and community users. And along with the license, we also provide the advanced support by email and phone. You can also ask questions through F-Secure community. We also offer premium support, which comes with the higher SLA. It's available separately, and with the premium support, you also get direct access to R&D if you actually need like assistance with your custom integration, or if you expect that there would be at least, or if you would expect a higher SLA and response time from F-Secure. This is last slide. I definitely encourage you to go and check more details about solution at fsecure.com/Salesforce. You will find lots of materials about the product itself. You will find the white papers and other materials, and there will be also a link to our App Exchange listing. With that, I think we now have time for Q&A.
Thank you so much, Dimitri.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Really comprehensive walkthrough of the product. I appreciate it. I see that we at least have a couple of questions from Morten. I will read them out loud. I'm not 100% sure if you can access the questions yourself, but anyway, here it goes. So first question is the content only checked in and out of Salesforce, or also when resting in Salesforce?
Both. I think I can actually quickly switch to the application. We also provide additional kind of secondary controls to scan the content which is already stored in the Salesforce. Of course, I mentioned that for files and URLs, we scan them in both directions, whether they upload or download. But of course, I do understand that files might not be accessed for some time, and if you need to validate whether you still have harmful content in your organizations, we do provide this manual scanning, and you can also create like regular scheduler job from our application.
Great. For your knowledge, everyone, I have default unmuted you. So Morten, you're more than welcome to unmute yourself and go into conversation with Dimitri if this was an answer to your question, or if there's anything you would like to have elaborated a little bit more. Okay. Fair enough. Then I will go on to the next.
That's not necessary.
Okay, thanks, Morten. I will just take the next question there. So, Dimitri, is this a EU-hosted solution?
Yes and no. If I actually go in my slides to the solution architecture, I need to explain at least where we have the security cloud. So on the diagram with the solution architecture, I show you F-Secure Security Cloud, which is definitely cloud-based because our native application installed in your Salesforce org. So basically, I assume that in your country, it would be one of the EU instances of the Salesforce platform. But then our native application interacts with the F-Secure Security Cloud, which is available in 2 locations, in the US and in Europe. And the native application connects to the security cloud depending on the instance of the Salesforce. So if your Salesforce org is available, is actually in EU, then the native application will interact with the security cloud hosted in Ireland. But of course, if the org would be available, let's say in the US or South America, then we would use security cloud deployed in the US West Coast.
Okay, thanks, Dimitri. And yet again, Morten, feel free to just comment on the answers from Dimitri. Otherwise, final.
You don't have the possibility. You don't have the possibility to force running on one geolocated hosting center to ensure that that we're only by the solution we're only running inside the EU.
We force it on the application level, so it's not possible that your data will be sent to the US. So we limit it in EU, and in terms of like scalability and robustness, we of course use multiple regions within Europe. So what comes to the Ireland, I think we are using 3 data centers around the Dublin. So you can of course imagine like what would be the chance that all 3 data centers would go down. And we are, by the way, using data centers from AWS. So far, of course, we didn't have any major kind of downtimes with the services. And of course, this is not like a kind of promise, but we are exploring options, of course, to make the deployments in different like EU countries, because we are not doing this only for privacy and security reasons, but it's also like to improve our scalability and resilience of the services. But I can at least ensure you that yes, your data will be analyzed only in EU region. So technically, it's not possible that your data will be sent over the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
And final question, Dimitri, could you tell us a little bit about who is actually our competitors within this specific area?
Yes, absolutely. We of course have the CASP or Cloud Access Security Broker Solutions as a main competitor, and there are of course many of them. But as it was highlighted by Gartner in their kind of security analysis of Salesforce Cloud, our solution is superior. Why? Because we are natively integrated with the Salesforce platform, and we are the only vendor who provides actually real-time protection. Because CASP vendors, they also integrate through the cloud-to-cloud APIs, but they provide so-called near real-time scanning. And of course, sometimes they actually lying because the near real-time would probably mean that they will scan files like every hour, which is not close even to near real-time. In our case, we intercept the files when they come in or leave out the Salesforce cloud, and we have a way to block it. As far as we know, the CASP vendors might actually scan the files when they actually come to the platform, but they will not be able to scan it on download. This is one of our strengths that we got by collaborating with the Salesforce engineering teams. And we also provide the click time protection for URLs. Some CASP vendors, they might of course scan the URLs and then they will report that the malicious URL was detected. But with our click time protection, when we ensure that the reputation of the website is checked every time the user actually is trying to navigate to that website. Then we have a couple of other solutions which claim that they are actually better than us, but those solutions are not kind coming from the security vendors. You might actually find one solution even in an app exchange, and I have to give them a credit that they are really native, because they somehow managed to implement like antivirus inside of the security cloud. But what they did apparently, that they just collect the signature or signatures of patterns of malicious content, and they store it in the Salesforce-platform, which actually comes also with a huge data storage consumption. So they required you to allocate maybe 200 or 300 megabytes of data storage that I don't remember. But these signatures are coming from, open source, probably community or something. But we as F-Secure, we've been in the security market for quite a while, and of course we are not providing just antivirus. But you also see from the references by Salesforce that we definitely provide unique solutions to protect Salesforce.
Thanks, Dimitri. I hope that was an answer also to your question. I'm just looking through if there's any other questions, or if anyone else would like to unmute and ask a question to Dimitri, feel free. Okay. Then I think, Dimitri, once again, I would just like to say thanks a lot for showing up today and give us this broad view on the cloud protection for Salesforce. Really appreciate it. And once again, thank you everyone who tuned in and listened to the webinar of today. On behalf of F-Secure, thank you very much, and have a really good day.
Yeah, on my behalf, I also want to thank you for participation. It was really my pleasure, and I also want to say the last words. If you have any questions, please reach my colleagues in Denmark, and definitely have a great day. Stay safe and real and cyber life.
Thanks, Dimitri. Same to you. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.